Hey there! Welcome back to BerlinCraft. Today we're over here on the unnamed Mushroom Island, which is getting a name soon. Do not worry, I'm working on that. Two things before we begin. Episode 50 is a Q&A, and if you would like to ask me a questions for the Q&A World Download and World Tour for episode 50 of BerlinCraft, go back to episode 45 and ask up to 3 questions. Moving on to the second thing, if anything in-game sounds different today, if anything of Minecraft sounds different, it is because of how I record my audio. So, to put it simply, any sounds that Minecraft makes through my headphones is recorded into its own audio file. And my headphones that I was using before in my other episodes and such has broken, so I am using an older headset, and I don't exactly know how this is going to sound, so if it sounds weird, I do apologize, but I will try my best to make it sound proper. Anyway, enough with this, on to the episode. Also, if my microphone audio sounds slightly different today, that is because the program I use to do my audio is acting a little funky. Its settings got reset and I didn't actually save them. So off camera, I actually added the ring around the building here of cobblestone, and then instead of the slabs sticking out from the flat part of the wall, so this part of the wall, instead of the slabs here, I added some trapdoors to add a little bit of variation and a little bit of different color. Inside here, I added two little more pillars that are here over to here just to break up the white bone blocks. I changed all of the windows to white stained, and I added pillars across here and here, so we have to figure out what to do up here, over here, and for the outside walls. Now the outside walls are a tiny bit of a struggle, so you're not saying to yourself, okay, well it's just the design on the front being repeated, you know, it's just over here on the side repeated and over here on the side repeated. I want it to look slightly different. I want it to have its own feelings. Now, of course, the front will look different from the sides, but the two sides will not look different from each other, and the back will probably not look that different from the sides either. I just want each wall, parallel to each other, have their own feelings. So these front and back walls might end up looking the same, while these side walls might look a little bit different. That's sort of the plan, and I want to figure out what I can put up there. Now, I've been puzzling myself. What can I put up there? What would look good up there? And I'm still not exactly sure what I can put up here that would look that good. Like, I've been asking myself and I've been thinking, and I'm just not sure. I was thinking for a little bit, oh, we'll put some cyan up here and be done with it, but that's too flat. That's too boring. That's too I don't like that. But what we can do is we can do what we did over here. If we F5, you can see the bone blocks are in different orientations. Now, we can do that up here as well. So if we want to do that up here, we can go like this, and we can also use the same method we actually used before to get a different, to break up the white. So even though it's going to be quite a bit of white up here, we can still use it and break it up. Oops, that was wrong. This goes here, here, and here, and then sideways, 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 up, up, oops, up, up, right, up, okay, and then scaffolding blocks here, and then this, that, oops, this, that, and then we can get down from here, we can get a good look at it. So this is what I'm thinking. Oh, we're a bit stuck here, there we go, fix myself. So this is what I'm thinking for up here. It has its own sort of characteristics. Now the problem is you can clearly see that annoys me right there, this part, and I want to fix it up a little bit. So what I was actually thinking for here is copy here still, is to use the same sort of method and just take these and bring them down a little bit. So we have this sort of following plan over here, which we can use. So if we just bring it down here and then come over to this side and bring this side down as well, we can go like this and then bring a double side down sort of like this. Like, now this is just me experimenting. Like, it might not even look that good, but it is me experimenting and trying to follow the same sort of patterns for the inside. Man, this it's getting real buggy today in here, jeez. Okay, so then there. And that's decent. That does look decent. That looks pretty good, except for the fact, now that's too much gray right there. That is too weird right there. Now, we might be able to remedy this. I don't know where my axe went, actually. Is it over here in one of these chests? Nope, that's a pickaxe. Over here in this chest, did I accidentally drop it off? I did. Okay, so we can remedy this slightly. but it might not look that good. It might not be that even. So if we just take all of these off real quick, and we're also going to have to fix that half slab up there with this method, but it might look a little bit better, and it won't snug up to this wall that much, and it won't snug up to this corner that much. So we can do the same thing, but move them inwards slightly, very, very slightly. So let's try this. Oops, I keep misplacing them. That gets annoying. Like this, and then we can come down here and then throw up the cobblestone, which breaks up the white. It still adds its own flavor. It's not snugging up to either wall. Now the only problem is the two half slabs right there. So I want to come up here actually and see what these two half slabs are holding. If it is something important, then it's not that important, really. If we think about it, that's not that important. That gets hidden anyway. Right? That gets hidden anyway. So let's just do that, and then half slab up there like it's sort of supposed to be, right? So we can have that there, and then we can come down here. In fact, where does this one lead? Is this right here? And that's right there? We can even have a little bit of a window up here just to break it up here as well. So that might actually work itself. Let's come down here and get a better look at it. Let's remove all of the scaffolding, get a good look at it, and see what we think. Now we need to climb back up a little bit and get rid of this scaffolding piece. So what does this look like? How does this look to us? That looks pretty good. I like the window up there. The half slab's no longer there. I think I like that. We can break it up a tiny bit if we so choose. We just need to come back out here to the supplies and grab ourselves some half slabs, which we appear to not actually have. Let's go like this, and then that, and then pick that up. Put that in, pick that up, put that in, then we can come over here, and we can break this up slightly even more by adding a little bit of that there, and who knows, we might even add a potted plant up there just to break it up a little bit more. But for right now, I actually quite enjoy that. So you know what, I'm going to repeat that on this side. That seems like a good idea. And we'll also work on making this side of it less bland as well. Just because this side obviously is a lot flatter. It doesn't have these two things hanging down, which actually we can probably slightly less easily remedy. So to get these ones, we'd probably have to go like that, and then, yeah, this side's gonna be a little bit of a different story, I can already tell. So we can come like that, and then come like that, get these there and there, nope, there, yeah, that's a little bit of a different story. I don't like that. That's also too much gray right there. So we're gonna have to figure out something to remedy this side, but tell you what, be right back, going to finish this side and maybe do a little bit of playing around with something on this side to remedy how it looks. Alright, so I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so I took a moment off to work on the side design of the walls. Tell me how you think this looks. Now, I'm going to do it up there and there, and we're going to finish it off just to get a good feeling of it, and maybe I'll like it myself. Right now, I am sort of iffy on it. It looks decent, but I'm not sure the clean, smooth brick goes that well with the front being that much cobblestone. I'm not exactly sure if I enjoy how smooth it looks, and I don't want to change the front. I'm actually quite happy with the front, so that's something I don't actually want to change. I don't want to change the front, so I want to sort of try and focus, and that's gonna get annoying. Okay, there. Oh yeah, this is gonna cause a problem already. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go that, this, you, and you. You know what, it actually might not be that bad. You know, the change of height in between windows might not be that bad. Although that looks like a weird face. Maybe that's just me, but that looks like a slightly weird face. Oh, geez. Okay, so up here, let's do the same thing, and then we'll get a good view of the wall being completed, at least this side, and then we can sort of judge ourselves on how we want it to look and how we want it to go, because that is the ultimate test of our skills right now, is how we want this to look, how we want it to go, and if it doesn't look right or it's not going how we want it to, then we sort of failed, because you know, it's all about making a good build, and a good build means you like it as well. Now I hope that this up here is wrong. Okay. I was hoping that that was full blocks. I didn't realize until I actually placed it and saw right here that it is actually a half slab down. Sorry if there's like a bit of cuts in the episode, like randomly. I apparently can't speak English today, and my brain keeps muddling up sentences and words and all that bad stuff for commentating. I was trying to do my intro earlier, and I kept trying to explain it, or I kept trying to explain the audio thing, and my brain just kept doing the same thing over and over again. I'm just like, no, that's not how I want to explain it. And then I tried to explain it again, and my brain was just like, okay, let's take it from the top and explain it the exact same way you just explained it. Apparently my brain sounds like Sean Connery, Okay, so how does that look? You know what? That doesn't look that bad. That looks pretty decent. That fits in slightly. See what I mean? Let's try that again. This fits in. Maybe not to the front, but it still fits in with the theme. Now, of course, we're gonna have to do something here to break it up. It looks a little bit too flat, even if the panels, or the panes, go in, but it still looks a little bit too flat in some points. So you know what I'm thinking is we're going to borrow another little aspect from the Saloon Town, stuff we've done there, and actually use sort of the same tactics that we use there to add depth to things. So let's try and come here and just at the bottom of these, well, maybe there, at the bottom of these, add just a little lip. Like, that's what I'm thinking here, is just a little lip to add a little bit more depth, and I think that actually worked really well for our plans. That added that little bit of depth I was really going for, so I think that wall works pretty well. But we might end up changing it to cobblestone anyway, just using the cobblestone here, because I like it. It looks different enough from here, but I'm not sure the stone brick actually looks that good. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this side. I'm going to copy this design over here, and then I want you guys to sort of judge it. I want you guys to tell me which side looks better, the cobblestone side or the stone brick side. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll try again. Alright, so here's the cobblestone version. Get a good look at this, get a good imprint in your brain, or you can just, you know, come back to it on the video, and compare the cobblestone side to the stone brick side. Tell me your opinion on it. Tell me your opinion. Tell me if you think the stone brick side works better or the cobblestone side works better. And I will not do the back wall because the back wall will be determined on the material. Now we're also going to have to make it a bit less flat in here, but that won't be that much of a problem. But I want to do the floor. I want to figure out the floor material, which actually, let's sleep real quick here. So I want to try making a floor. You know, I just want to do a simple little floor, one sort of design floor. It might just be flat for the time being, but the flat will be good. The flat will be good. So I'm thinking I want to do dark oak. Now I know what you're thinking, you know, I use dark oak and everything, but now I actually have a pretty good excuse other than it looks like a great block. My excuse is that it looks like a great block. I'm not kidding, it looks like a good block in terms of the color scheme. Now, in terms of the color scheme, now you could argue we could go with birch. We could take a stack of birch, which I appear to have put away somewhere. Is it over here? It is. We could take a stack of birch, call it that, use the birch, right? And that's what I was thinking as well, too. I was thinking to myself, okay, so what material would go great as a floor material for this? You know, using the color palette, using the color design, what would be a good floor material? And I was thinking to myself for quite a little while, I was thinking, you know what? Birch. Birch would be a great color palette because it'll match, it'll be firm, it'll be, you know, good. Firm in terms of, like, it'll match the design, it'll be firm, and okay. Okay, so last thing I want to do is a floor design. Now, I wanted to go with dark oak because it contrasts to the design quite a bit. You know, it contrasts to the building. The building's very gray, very washed out. The floor would be a great contrast to it. But I was thinking also, well, what happened to my original idea of birch? Because birch would fit in with the palette a lot more than dark oak would, right? So I was thinking this is like, oh, what if we use birch? You know, birch would go with the palette. It would look good. But I'm not sure about birch. You know, I was thinking, okay, so we want color in the build. We want color in the build. We want it all over the build. We want it to still pop out in certain places. We don't want it to get very boring very quickly. And I was going to add some cyan glass paints, but it didn't look right with it. You know, it didn't look that good. And so I was also thinking, well, what if we try and add a little pop of color in the floor? And I was trying that as well, and I was looking through some materials, and I was like, okay, well, what if we use the orange wood? I think is acacia. And that didn't look that good either. It didn't look that good because it was too much. The dark oak sort of fits in a little bit better than the acacia in terms of, you know, just general fitting in with the color scheme. It looks better just because it's not so harsh, but I'm unsure because it pops out maybe a little bit too much. Like, how does that birch look? Now, I don't like this. This is too much of a just instant there. So let's try quarantine that off with some andesite, just as a little breaker. So how does that look? That matches fairly well. And now there is another thing we can do. We can use bone blocks at the floor. And we have a mass ton of bone blocks, but I'm afraid of using too many bone blocks. You know, I don't want to overflow with bone blocks. That would be something pretty bad. Also, the problem with bone blocks is on the edges of the bone block, they have a slightly darker texture. So when they're in rows like this, you can clearly see the clear lines in the block. They come out very, very clearly. So I don't know if that's a good floor material. It would be great because it would match everything else, but I'm not sure it would be a good floor material. So it's either dark oak, birch, or bones. And maybe if I can fix the bone texture, like I was talking about making my own texture pack, I might still do that for BerlinCraft, but if I can fix the bone texture, I'd go with that. Birch, maybe tone back the yellow, the bright yellow of the birch a little bit. Dark oak would add a pop to the place. Like normal oak, I don't think I want to go with normal oak. That looks just a little bit too plain, so I'm not really sure which floor design to go with. We got this, and we can technically just come over here and fill this in with dark oak so you guys can get a good view at it, because obviously I do value you guys' feedback in the build, because obviously you will also be touring this very world soon if you choose to download the world, and I want to get some good viewer feedback so we can get some good buildings going, you know, buildings that people will like. So I'm not sure if I want to go with birch, bones, or dark oak. So let's come over here, and I want you to get just a good look at all three. It sort of looks like Neapolitan ice cream without the pink. But just get a good look at all three. What do you think would go well enough with the color scheme of the build? Just because the color scheme of the build is a gray and white sort of mix, the birch would go well and the bone blocks would go well. The dark oak, I'm only pitching for a pop of color. Also, I have another question for you guys to answer. Just because it came into my mind last episode. This is a port town. This is a fishing dock. A very, very, let's try that again. This is a fishing dock, a port town, and port towns let's try that for a third time. Sorry about this. I did warn you earlier. My brain is trying to muck things up. This is a port town, a docking town, a fish town. Things get corroded here very quickly, so things get very worn down. Does this look too new? Does this look too modern? Like for a port town. A port town usually has very simple builds. This is quite out there. This sort of looks like a big modern build. Does it look out of place for something that should be a port town, fishing dock town, whatever you want to name it? Does this look too out of place? Now, it's a bit late to change it now, but we can still make some changes to it to make it look less modern. But that's just what I wanted to ask you guys. Like, what's your opinion on it? Also, up there, you can see the windows we added on the inside. I'm still quite happy with what we did on the inside to break up the white. I'm quite happy there. I don't think I want to change these. We definitely need to make these less flat, but that's probably going to be it for this episode. Next episode, we will do something else. We'll go back to the saloon town, but at the very start of the episode, using some viewer feedback and such like that, I will just finish up the floor and the back wall, show you guys quickly on camera, then we'll go over to the saloon town to do some work. But for right now, this is the end of the episode. Remember to leave your opinions down below on the stuff I've asked in this episode, and if you want to ask me some questions, go back to episode 45 and ask me for episode 50. But thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Remember, stay fancy and peace out. Bye-bye.